Hello and welcome everyone to Anfield Index for a breaking news story. Reds, as you can see from the title and the thumbnail, Liverpool have been linked with Marc Guéhi, the England centre-half, 25-year-old left-footed centre-half anyway, was linked heavily with Newcastle United not too long ago. But Reds, if you are watching on the repeat, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you are joining the live as it is, do get your comments in. We'll read out as many as we possibly can. But if you want to support through super chats on the lives, it massively does appreciate help. But yeah, we'll get. If you are new to Anfield Index, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below for the latest and breaking Liverpool news. Of course, going into the transfer window. Everyone's going to be chock-a-blocker. Obviously, the final tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to, but every single one of us are. We'll be doing a watch-along on that, of course, the post-match Raw, and obviously the Gags Tandem show, which will be, Gags, if you are watching, enjoy Wembley, mate. It'll be me and Eddie taking you through. Let's hope a very big victory for Liverpool at Wembley on Sunday anyway. So, Reds, yeah, we'll get straight into it. As I said, if you haven't already done so, make sure you do drop a like on the video as well. And anyone watching or listening, do get us on all our social media channels. Let us know your thoughts on this centre half potentially coming to Liverpool. But obviously, this evening, whenever you are watching, obviously this evening, it's an exclusive. Liverpool have held talks with Marc Guéhi. Guehi's representatives. This is coming from Dave OCKOP as well. Obviously, Dave did very much break the Jordan Henderson news a very long time ago. I think he got that spot on. And let's hope he's spot on with this as well. Because I tell you, if you've not been watching me over the last couple of years, I'm a massive fan of Marc Guéhi. Have done for a very long time anyway. I think he's got all the attributes. But we're getting into, obviously, statistically speaking, have a little look at his data, how he could play in and implement. But we're getting to this little article anyway. Won't read it all. Obviously, go and check it out anyway to its full extent from my obviously Dave OCKOP anyway. But he goes on to add a little bit on his article in regards to Marc Guéhi. Have been linked with the move to Anfield as well. But yeah, it's saying that in terms of obviously recently being linked, obviously going to the under England national side as well. But in terms of Dave OCKOP and his reports, in a major development, Dave OCKOP can exclusively reveal that Liverpool have held talks with Marc Guéhi's representatives. The talks which were held earlier this week over a number of days signaled a potential move that could fruitfully that obviously fortify the Reds backline. That could very much fortify the Reds backline ahead of the season with Arne Slot. So yeah, in terms of he goes on to add, it's important to note, however, that there are other players who are obviously represented by the same agency who could have been part of the transfer conversations. Obviously, same agency as Anthony Gordon. Obviously, he's just signed a new deal as well. Marc Guéhi's representative, so a very similar agency. But yeah, in terms of whilst under the impression that the talks were centered around Marc Guéhi, it could be that the transfer of Anthony Gordon or potentially another player was on the table too as well. One of the factors that place Marc Guéhi in a favourable light in regards to this report is that he would be classed as a homegrown player, counting towards the quota required in a 25-man squad. Obviously for Liverpool and most Premier League clubs as well. But yeah, just making sure we haven't missing any discussions. Yeah, so it's interesting, Reds. I do think there's quite a lot of legwork really in regards to this. A lot of truth. In all honesty, 25 years old, the England centre half, as we said at the top of the show, massively linked with Newcastle United in the window just gone. I think Newcastle were putting in 50, 60 odd million pound bids in for Marc Guéhi. I know, obviously, whatever happens with Virgil van Dijk and all that, but predominantly a left-sided centre half. Plays to facilitate the game down on his left-hand side, and there's not really a plethora really in regards to a lot of English left-footed centre halves in the Premier League. The one that strikes me straight away is obviously Jared Branthwaite. You've got obviously Levi Caldwell at Chelsea as well, and he was a player that Liverpool were linked with in over the last 2 years as well. So it's when a position and a player of this quality does become available. I think he's got 12 months left on his contract, Marc Guéhi, so it's understandable that Crystal Palace will not be wanting to get rid of the 25-year-old, but certainly if the opportunity did arrive for Liverpool, and as Dave OCKOP just mentioned there as well in terms of his article, check it out, in terms of similar representatives. This is where the story's originating from as well. So you do find that with certain agencies, you will very much tout other players, certainly on the books. I think Liverpool have done that in the past with certain other players that Liverpool have and expressed an interest, but certainly some situations it's not a case of just always going straight in for the players, just expressing an interest. And very much, I think, judging from obviously the players that have played in the international stage, obviously Trent and Curtis Jones as well, and obviously Jarell Quansah being called up. So Liverpool will do our due diligence really in regards to a lot of these deals going in. Obviously, you obviously had Dave yesterday bringing in the news that obviously Julian Alvarez was linked in reports yesterday, which is interesting. And let's hope, obviously, the Marc Guéhi news is very much certainly, and in the next couple of weeks or days, really, it becomes a bit more concrete, really. But Reds, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below in regards to this story. We'll pick up there, John. John's got the first comments. Thoughts on how much it would cost, in your opinion, John? It's going to be an interesting one, mate, as I just alluded to, in terms of his length of contract. We know Newcastle United were absolutely desperate in regards to bringing in any form of centre half, but certainly a player of Marc Guéhi's quality, especially if Newcastle over the last 12 months. I'd say in a fee in a region of in and around 40 to 60 million pound would certainly get the job done for Marc Guéhi coming to Liverpool. The biggest telling point and factor, really, when you've got to analyse Liverpool in terms of a selling perspective, because I think every Liverpool fan, we've got plenty of shows to come on Anfield Index, especially as we approach the transfer window as well. We'll be getting, obviously, all the very well-respected journalists coming on, and they very much pinpoint this in regards to not sell to buy, but very much a case of Liverpool will need to offload certain individual players within the football club as well. So, you look at Joe Gomez, I think that's very much where Liverpool could free up a couple of funds, really. Joe Gomez is one for me, and probably for a lot of Liverpool fans, is one of the most frustrating players within our squad, because we know Joe Gomez's quality, but if you can bring in a player of the calibre of Marc Guéhi, that a player, most importantly, is his availability. There's not a more important than a player being available on a football pitch. And given the extensive amount of games Guéhi's played for Crystal Palace, it's not that he's just been a in and out player, Marc Guéhi. At the heart of that Crystal Palace defence, he's been a stalwart, really, in regards to obviously playing alongside Anderson, when obviously Anderson was at very much Crystal Palace as well. So obviously he moved to Fulham. So it's this one. I do feel, and it'd be interesting to see what Dave and all the other lads obviously speak to, obviously Eddie on the watch long on Sunday as well. Like, this for me, Reds, let us know your thoughts. I do feel there's a lot of truth in this, and I think it's a type of transfer that Liverpool would be very wise to do. Obviously, everyone goes, the quota and all that, but it is a thing. It's important that not just Liverpool, but a lot of the Premier League teams do need to analyse. And when you are speaking about the quota players in regards to English top talent as well, Marc Guéhi, for me, 25 years old, he'll be coming into his very much prime, really. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk, why is he 22, 23 years old? Liverpool don't offer Virgil van Dijk a contract. This is where Liverpool, as we have seen in other seasons where we've not been as active in the transfer market, if all three of them go, then Liverpool, I think this is in terms of the balance of the defence as well. We know Virgil van Dijk does play on that left-hand side of those centre halves. Obviously, Ibu plays on the right-hand side, but Virgil very accustomed to playing off his left, off his right. And this is where I do feel there's a lot of truth in this coming from Dave OCKOP and there's a lot more legs to this story, really, in regards to it picking up a bit more traction, really, because there's a lot of quality within the player, and Guehi would very much facilitate that left-hand side of Liverpool's defence, because obviously he's a left footer as well. So yeah, for me, Reds, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. I do feel there's very much a lot of truth in this regard. And yeah, Liverpool will be very wise. But just having a little look at the data as well, have a little dive into the little bit of the data. If you can see that chat. Obviously, anyone listening to the audio podcast will go through a bit. Obviously, just opened up FB Ref, but anyone watching across on, obviously, who are watching on Facebook or X as well, head over to the YouTube channel as well, Reds. We are closely approaching 10,000 subscribers. You're absolute legends, and big up to everyone that has continued to support the channel and all the great work everyone does as well. So as you can see here, obviously just boosted up FB Ref in regards to, obviously, when you compare these statistics and analysis, really, obviously compares the top 5 main big leagues in European football, obviously the Premier League being one of the biggest in European football as well. So in terms of we'll have a little look at statistics in terms of penalty goals and assists and all that. Marc Guéhi, in terms of non-penalty goals, he's got a 0.11. He ranks in the 90th percentile, which is very good, in all honesty, for non-penalty expected goals. So what does that tell you? That, for me, personally, when you look at that in terms of he's a threat in the penalty area, and that's certainly one thing that, as well as Liverpool in the years to come as well. Of course, you want Salah and other players up front, but there's going to be certain games, as we've already seen this season. We would have loved a little cheeky corner goal against Paris Saint-Germain. It's important that you create a threat across every area of the pitch, really, for Liverpool. So in terms of assists, he obviously ranks as a 0.07 in terms of the top 90 percentile, in the top 10% in Europe's top 10 top 5 leagues anyway, in regards to his assists, which is very good, to say the least, anyway. Very, very good. Expected assist goals. What this does tell you in terms of that statistic as well, is a 0.04, ranks in the top 80. He's got a percentile of 45%. So in terms of the top 16, the one facet of any Liverpool centre half, obviously in the 70s and 80s, it was very prominent, but certainly under Arne Slot football now, there's very much a more of an emphasis of your centre halves, and especially your fullbacks as well. But in an Arne Slot system, very much the facilitators of starting your attacks is your centre halves and your fullbacks as well. And this is where you look at the data and you look at the reports this evening as well. Yeah, I do feel there's it's looking very promising, because obviously expected assists in terms of goals as well. That's obviously goals leading up to you expected assists leading to potential goals as well. Non-penalty expected goals in terms of XG as well, quite high. Shots creating actions as well, in terms of ranks quite highly in regards to that. He's got a 1.13 and in the percentile of 77% in the top 5 leagues as well. So shot creating actions, what does that mean? That means, and apologies, I'm wrong, Reds. I'm still learning. This is all the stuff I'm learning. Only over the space of a couple of months as well. Obviously listening to Bart and very much Dave on their shows as well. I think it means, but I do apologise. Someone will very much correct me in the comments. I know they will. Please do. So we'll learn. But in terms of shot creating actions, in terms of shots leading up to a potential action to score on goal, he ranks in 77 percentile as well. So obviously, in terms of what he does at the back, leading to a potential goal or potential creating action in regards to the top end of the pitch as well, that ranks quite highly. So he's and when you look and analyse it in terms of Crystal Palace, it's Crystal Palace. We know Mateta's done absolutely amazing, fair play to him as well, but no disrespect to Palace, but they're not a Manchester City, not a Liverpool, where you've got not a reliance, but an expectation level. Obviously, Palace is very hit and miss, really. They're a very stable top 10 side in the Premier League, never really phased in terms of seasons on season, but you do create top players as well. Obviously, Adam Wharton, one to keep an eye on, one that has been linked with Liverpool over the last couple of seasons as well. Not just Liverpool, but a lot of top clubs. But yeah, in terms of that, and when you look at in terms of passes attempted, quite low down, really. He ranks in obviously a 51.68 percentile in terms of quite low in that. But in terms of pass completion, he does rank at obviously 83.2 in terms of quite low down, really, but it's expected because that would be a lot more higher. Say if he was to come to Liverpool or a Manchester City, as I mentioned, a team that is very fundamentally a ball retention team that is very high, that would go up to easy, like 90 to 92, 93, 94 if he was to come to Liverpool, because the amount of ball retention, ball possession Liverpool do have. Successful take-ons, that's one aspect of his in terms of his ability to dribble with the ball as well. Successful take-ons ranks as 85 percentile. He ranks it as, it's coming in as a 0.39. So in terms of top 15%, very highly in terms of what he does on the ball. He's got that ability to, I wouldn't say he's got electric pace. Chat, let us know your thoughts in terms of when you've analysed him yourself, when you've watched a couple of Crystal Palace games, but it's that ability to shift with the ball when he has got the ball. He's got that bit of pace, the first 5-10 yards really, to get away from opposition attackers, to very much step into that midfield, step in behind the lines of opposition midfielders and then transition. Very similar to that we did see with obviously Joel Matip. That was one of the biggest characteristics of Joel Matip when he was fully fit for Liverpool. That was, and certainly Virgil van Dijk and even Ibu Konate, in terms of playing those penetrating balls straight into the attackers within a matter of just one decisive pass through the middle as well. And that's a good aspect really for Marc Guéhi. And as I said, you've got to caveat this with the team as well when you analyse the data and everything. In terms of quite highly, in terms of Marc Guéhi, his blocks, which is understandable, as we've said, it's Crystal Palace. No disrespect, sorry, any Palace fans are watching, but they're expected to concede quite a lot of shots because it's Crystal Palace and it's not a Man City. I was going to say Man United, but Man United, they concede about 50 shots a game. How long may that continue? But yeah, in terms of blocks, he ranks quite highly as obviously 1.77, obviously a 91 percentile as well. So in terms of tackles, not low, it's still 72 percentile in terms of tackles of 1.77. So it's one of them Reds in regards to that. I think if he was to transition to Liverpool, then that defensive data would very much drastically improve in that regard. So plenty to look forward to, Reds. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are listening to the audio podcast or whatnot, do let us know in the comment section below to get to a couple of your comments as well before we do shoot off. But yeah, if Salah's been offered, this from Graham, quickly on that one, offered a new deal, it's going to be interesting, Graham. I think he would do, certainly. But depends what, obviously. But at the end of the day, similar as we've mentioned at the top of the show with Van Dijk, Salah and Trent, if they all are going, then Liverpool need to be proactive even before they've gone. And this is where I look at this deal and the report this evening, where I do feel just Liverpool, just go out and, don't be waiting, especially Liverpool are waiting, and it comes the end of the season. Get these deals done now. Get these deals done before the market's even opened. Because it happens. It's football. Coaches, players do speak, even though they're sometimes not meant to anyway, but it's happened for hundreds of years anyway, where players have signed for football clubs and managers as well. As long as you don't meet up in Blackpool anyway, and Southampton don't find out. Or Crystal Palace. But Ed, as quickly, does he want to be, big up there, John, does he want to be a fourth choice option because he's not even going to challenge Virgil van Dijk or Ibu? And John, great comment, mate. It's the thing is, though, mate, you want to be, and this is where Liverpool have got the likes of Sadio Mane, you've got Salah, you've got all the players that have come in, even in the Jurgen Klopp era. It's about creating that culture of wanting players to do better than themselves as well. Like in any job, you see someone that's in front of you in terms of, obviously it's all about teamwork and all that, but if you believe in your own qualities, and certainly Marc Guéhi, he's 25 years old, he's an established, experienced centre-half in the Premier League. He'll look at that, and if Van Dijk's not getting any younger, fair enough, if Van Dijk was 25, similar age can Guéhi, but Guéhi should look at that, and if he's speaking to his agents, and this report does come a bit more truth as well in the next couple of weeks, he'll have that confidence about himself to say, I want to be a regular first team centre half. Because let's remember, Reds, and I done it when Andy Robbo come in. Everyone was like, "Wow, we're signing Andy Robbo." Obviously, the data lads that done the proper research, unlike me at the time, would have looked at Robbo's data and seen, "Oh yeah, he's overperforming what he should be doing," and Robbo's signing speaks for itself. But I think if Guehi, he's certainly got the quality to come in, as we've just mentioned there, to very much bring up a better performance level, not just himself, but certainly the players in and around him. And I think he would offer Liverpool a lot more balance in Liverpool's defence as well. I think that's a massive point in terms of playing left-sided. You're seeing at Arsenal as well with Calaflori and obviously Gavardio at Manchester City as well. That ability to play on the right side of a defence and obviously having the right sided, a right foot on the right and a left foot on the left as well. Check out obviously Dave and Bart's plenty of great videos on Anfield Index as well. Reds, the lads have already spoken about this, so head over after this video's gone live. Anyway, definitely check out all the lads. They've linked, done plenty of research on players as well, so plenty to get stuck into. But John, I think he'll have the confidence about himself. And at the end of the day, it's about creating that winning culture that we've done well this season, but we want to do more than just win one league title. We want to continue that trajectory, really, of consistency, really. And how you do that is by creating an environment like Jurgen Klopp did with his great team. But this is now Arne Slot's time, really, to build and bring in players of his philosophy. And this is where, as we just mentioned, if you've just tuned in, rewind anyway from the start. But yeah, big up there, Klopp. Not happy. Fair enough, fair enough. The thing is, I'd love it. If it could start the centre half, it would be Bastoni, but that's being realistic. We're never going to get him. I love him as a player, but I'm worried about the traces somebody can't challenge. He's too short. Is that Jamie Carragher typing? I don't know. Martinez. I think we all remember watching a certain Cannavaro. That wasn't an issue. I think height's never going to be an issue. Franco Baresi, one of the legendary greatest ever centre halves. I get everyone goes on, the Premier League, you need to be tall. Not really. It's all about your timing as a defender, whether that be on the floor, but whether that be in the air as well. And Franco Baresi and Cannavaro, two of the best centre-halves ever to grace a football pitch, that never was an issue. And if you come into the Premier League, yes, everyone might go, "Oh, you're a bit too short to be a centre-half." That is utter nonsense for me. That's my opinion, but I think if you're good enough, you in the air and on the ground as well. Do apologise, chat. Someone camera keeps on fluttering anyway. Probably overheating anyway. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, John. Big up there, Everest. This will be a marquee sign for us. I hope we get backed up and do more transfers like this. Everest, it's going to be an interesting one, as I said, chat. If you are just tuning in, head back over anyway. For anyone just quickly tuning in, obviously this is coming from Dave OCKOP anyway. Drop him a follow and obviously check over to the website to read it in its full entirety anyway. But obviously, if you're just tuning in, it's a major development from Dave OCKOP can exclusively reveal that Liverpool have held talks with Marc Guéhi's representatives. The talks, which were held earlier this week over a number of days, signal a potential move that could fortify the Reds' backline ahead of the season, where Arne Slot's men are likely to be looking to keep up the momentum this year and challenge for major honours once again. Obviously, Dave OCKOP, it's important to note, however, that there are other players who are represented by the same agency as Guehi who could have been part of the transfer conversations. Anthony Gordon, linked to Liverpool in the past, is also represented by the same agency as Marc Guéhi as well. So, Reds, that pretty much concludes tonight's episode, Reds. If anything over breaks, obviously me or Dave or anyone on the channel will bring it here to as quickly as you possibly can as well, Reds. But an interesting one to say the least, Reds. And let's hope there's I'll absolutely love him as a centre half. I know everyone might go, "Oh, he's not good enough," but at the end of the day, I think he's personally good enough. If he was to come to Liverpool, the main thing is he stays fit. He's played a lot of minutes in his Premier League career as well, so we can win. Big up there, Randy. How are we? Oh my God, I hope we can. Yeah, it's the thing. It's about having options as well, Reds. Of course, we all want a cheeky Isaac up front and all that, but we've got to be realistic as well. Because if going into the summer as well, in regards to you're bringing in Guehi, probably 30 to about 55, 60 odd million in and around that ballpark as well, especially with the length of contract left on his deal at Crystal Palace. He still hasn't signed that new deal, as I am aware as well. So it's going to be one of them, Reds. But Reds, look after yourself. Obviously, I'll be covering the watch long as well, but obviously Dave should be here for another Daily Red episode tomorrow as well. So obviously, probably will keep it up to date in that regard as well. But Reds, look after yourself. Massive thank you for tuning in. And let's hope Liverpool can bring Marc Guéhi in the coming window. I think he'll do extremely well for Liverpool. But Reds, look after yourself. And thanks one for tuning in.